They say the journey of 1,000 steps starts with just one, albeit this first step has taken about 15 years. We're going to Konza City, the first smart city in the country. We'll tell you what exactly has been happening behind the curtains or even behind the fences, and we tell you what the progress is. 2024 is going to be a special year. We're going to see this smart city come to life. And first, we're going to be having the CEO, John Paul Okwiri, just now telling us what exactly has been happening here. With over 15 years of existence, the Konza Technopolis is what many Kenyans would want to know more about. Now we're saying Konza is open for business. We have the CEO, Paul Okwiri, who is going to be telling us what exactly is happening here. What's the progress? What's the history? What should we be looking forward to? Mr. Paul Okwiri.
Yes.
How long have you been the CEO of Konza Technopolis?
Thank you very much for inviting me for this interview. Of course, I've been in Konza Technopolis since the year 2015.
Right.
And as a CEO, I've now been a CEO acting 8 months.
Right.
And now a substantive CEO for the last 3 months.
For the last
since
3
August,
months.
yes.
Right. If you could just take us back in history. We're looking at Konza Technopolis, the first smart city in this country. Where did it come from? What was the concept about?
Now, Konza Technopolis is a concept of a smart city. So, as you can see, as a country, we've been relying on various other pillars
right.
in as far as economic development is concerned. You realize that we are largely an agricultural society,
right.
an agricultural country. Now, the world as it has moved today, it has moved to a technological world, where now most of the companies that are leading in as far as revenue generation and also impact is concerned are companies that are dealing in technology.
Right.
Now, as a country, with our visionaries, it was prudent that as a country we focused on what is the future of the country.
Right.
And the future of Kenya is technology, is in technology. Now, based on that basic understanding, it was envisioned that as a country, for us to move towards the technological front, then we needed to have a platform that will provide the country with this digital and technological transformation platform.
Right.
And that's how the vision and the concept of Konza Technopolis as a smart city was born. Because you realize that as a country, for us to move from an agricultural country where our revenue and also our exports were based on agriculture, and given the climatic changes that have happened all over the world, global warming,
right.
it was important that as a country we focus on the future, and the future is in technology. And then that's how the concept of Konza Technopolis was born.
Right.
Now, Konza Technopolis is a Vision 2030 flagship project, and it's on the economic pillar of the Vision 2030. Now, as Konza Technopolis Development Authority, we were established with a mandate to establish Konza Technopolis, which is a Vision 2030 flagship project
right.
that seeks to develop a sustainable smart city and provide an innovation ecosystem that will contribute to Kenya's knowledge economy.
Right.
Now, knowledge economy is the future that as a country we need to explore.
We have the title Silicon Savannah, which I believe is mostly based on Konza Technopolis and the need to have smart cities, SEZs. Would you say maybe now that we have all of these phases that we're looking at, phase 1 is almost complete, would you say that we are closer to achieving our Silicon Savannah title?
Actually, we are more than closer to achieving Silicon Savannah.
Right.
Because you realize that the mandate of Konza Technopolis Development Authority was to establish the basic infrastructure. Konza Technopolis is a 5,000-acre parcel of land.
Right.
Okay? And that is the mandate within which Konza Kotda is involved. Now, the master plan has been done in a way that the development was phased into phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3.
Right.
If you look at our master plan, we phased it in a way that we started the development of the infrastructure in the middle, so that the city can grow outwards.
Right.
Now, that means that we have currently developed the infrastructure in phase 1, and that's about 600 acres.
Right.
In phase 1, we have 147 parcels. Over 100 parcels have already been allocated to investors.
Right.
Konza being an investment destination and having allocated parcels to investors, it's within 18 months, each of the investors who have received their subleases should be able to start developing their infrastructure.
Right.
And that's basically the vertical infrastructure. So we have master planned the city in a way that we have the commercial band, so that is an area where all businesses will be based, and it spans across the entire 5,000 acres. We have a technology band, like where our office is. Right now, we are in the technology band.
Right.
So all technological companies will be based in this band, and it also spans across the entire city. We have a residential band where all residential housing units will be based, and that also spans across the entire city. We have a university band. University band is also spans across the entire city. Then finally we have a light industrial band. So that is at the end of the 5,000 acres. That also spans across the entire city. Now, phase 1 development has happened. We've allocated various investors in the various bands.
Right.
Now, if you look at the bands,
Right.
the commercial band, already there are investors there. Within 18 months, they should be able to start putting up their infrastructure. Now, technology band, of course, we have Konza having placed this complex in the technology band.
Right.
When you go to residential, we have investors, the likes of NHC have already been allocated percent, and they'll soon be developing their verticals. When you go to university, who are our anchor tenants, the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology is already on progress, and it's at 30% completion. Now, when you go to light industrial, we've allocated parcels, and it's among the areas that we are still getting the investors to on board, so that we finalize within the 147 acres, 147 parcels that were planned for investment.
Right.
What that means is that as soon as these investors will start putting up, then the Technopolis will grow outwards.
Right.
So phase 2 and phase 3 will achieve organic growth. And if you look at Vision 2030, today we are in the year 2023. It means we have about 7 years to Vision 2030. So that means if we have investors, and that is our focus now, to ensure that investors are able to put up their developments. Now, if you give it a span of 2, 3, 4 years, or even 5, it means by the year 2030, we'll already have residents here.
Right.
Currently, we have staff, about 3,000 workers come in and out of the Technopolis every day. Now, what we need is housing. And if you look at the papers recently, we've already allocated 23 acres for affordable housing.
Right.
So if that we are able to achieve within the time, then we'll already start having residents living in the city, working, playing, and living in the city.
Right.
Now that is for housing. Now, if you look at all the other facets, the university is coming up. Very soon we'll also have students coming into the city, and that will speak to the research and development aspects, pillars that the Technopolis is supposed to achieve towards knowledge-based economy.
Right. John Paul, let's just have a moment of clarification because we're throwing around words. Maybe people would love to know what they mean. You've talked about vertical and horizontal infrastructure. Now, of course, the smart city is largely based on the horizontal structures. If you could just maybe tell us, what exactly does that mean? How exactly does that make this a smart city?
Now, for a smart city to achieve its objective or its standards, first we needed to master plan. You have to do master plan. You have to plan where will we have the water, where will we have the internet, fiber, Where will we have the power? Where will we have the sewage system, stormwater drainage, and the rest? So that speaks to where will we have the roads. So that speaks to horizontal infrastructure. So basically, horizontal infrastructure refers to all the connectivity. So roads, access roads, power, internet, water, sewer collection, water reticulation, all that speaks to horizontal infrastructure. So that has been done since the year 2018 up to now. The contractor is now at 96% completion.
Would that be for the entire Konza city?
That is for phase 1 Konza city.
For phase 1, all right.
Yes, so that speaks to horizontal infrastructure. And of course, we are now looking forward to linking now, doing the major roads for phase 2 and phase 3, so that we are able to link the two phases, so that we can say the entire Technopolis now is well catered for in as far as horizontal infrastructure is concerned. Now, when you speak to vertical infrastructure, now vertical infrastructure is first now to the building. For you to be a city, you need a space, office space, residential area. You need also to provide for facilitation, social amenities. So that speaks to buildings now. So buildings refers to the vertical infrastructure, which must be put in place for residents to find spaces where they can live, they can work, and play. Now, when you speak to the smart aspects now of the city, you know, you first need the infrastructure, then now you make it smart. Now, making it smart, it means now you need to use technology. So technology will provide you with the sensors that you need, with the use of ICT and ICT-enabled services to make life of residents better. So that is now the smart aspect. Now that comes after the infrastructure has been put in place. First, you need the brick and mortar, then now you need the ICT to make the space a smart space.
John Paul, circa 2008, this dream, the Konza Technopolis, came to life. A lot of people were curious about it. There were the plans, of course, that were laid in place. You're saying 2030 people would be moving in. Of course, there has been a large number of years in between 2008 and 2030. For a lot of naysayers who are saying that, you know, there's not much being seen, what would you tell them?
Now, okay, that was the case. And that would still be the case. But then, if you look at the work that has gone in since 2008 up to today, then they will appreciate that it needed to take that time to be able to achieve the objective of a smart city. Remember, we were building a city from scratch, so from a greenfield. So that meant you get the land, of course, which was gotten. Then you needed to master plan it. So master planning meant now finding every space, every use for every space that is available. Now, if you look at what we've done with the master planning of the entire Technopolis, you find that every parcel of land has been surveyed and has been considered for the particular use. Every parcel has a particular use. In a way that if a parcel is supposed to have a population of, let's say, 50 residents in that space, then that is exactly what is meant for. You will not have a situation where a space where there should be high-rise building having low-rise. So we will not have that situation in Konza, and that required serious master planning. We engaged the Master Development Partner 1 that was headed by Tetra Tech and help us to develop the plans and also provide the guidelines for each of the land use for each parcel. So that took time. Now, when you speak to the infrastructure, the roads,
Right.
the road network, also that required a lot of master planning to ensure that it is built to the standards that will be able to take care of the smart aspects
Right.
of the city. So that required time. And then thirdly, there was the issue of funding.
Right.
Okay, funding was a situation where we needed to raise enough capital to be able to go down first in terms of excavations and then come up. Right now, it's visible. You can see what has been done. But first, it required digging down
Right.
to get the firm ground so that
Right.
all the foundations would be put in place. So that required time.
Right.
Now, if we say it has taken time, yes, it has taken time, but it has taken time and it has come out the way it was designed to come out.
Right. John Paul, let's focus on certain aspects. Of course, Konza City is divided into bands. Let's focus on the university band.
Correct.
KAIST.
Yes.
What does KAIST mean to the common one-age?
Okay. Now, KAIST is, of course, Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology.
Right.
Now, what KAIST is supposed to achieve in Konza is basically to ensure that we provide the R&D environment, research and development. KAIST is a graduate-only university,
Right.
which means it will be admitting students who are focused in developing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Right.
So that will speak to those courses that are research-related. Now, research, if research is commercialized, then as a country, we'll be able to say we've achieved the knowledge-based economy.
Right.
In terms of selling our patents and copyrights and getting commercial value from that research. And of course, that will speak to innovation. Now, that is basically what KAIST is going to do. And KAIST will provide us with an environment where the government, the industry, and the academia are able to converge together and produce innovations that will take our country forward.
Right.
There are countries who have done that. The KAIST in Konza Technopolis is being mentored by the KAIST in Korea. If you read the history of Korea, Korea was able to make a leapfrog in the economy through the development of KAIST, that is Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which helped them to establish platforms that innovations, like now Samsung, LG, and Hyundai, all the industries that are in Korea were able to now to advance their technologies and export to the world, and that the country was able to achieve income from their own R&D development provided by the university. Now, a similar case is being put up in Konza Technopolis, where now we have the KAIST, which will provide the same environment for Kenya to be able to export its own innovation and research and development.
Right. There's also the aspect of, boosting the creative economy. I believe there's going to be a band that's going to be, catering to people within the digital space, creatives, and, boosting the creative industry. What could a Kenyan, youth, the median age right now is 19, what should they be looking forward to in 2030?
Median ages?
The median age is 19.
19?
19, yes.
Okay.
In the country, we're a very youthful
yeah, we are a very youthful population.
Yes.
And that's why, as Konza Technopolis, that is our aim, to ensure that we take care of all the youthful population and provide for them a platform within which that youthfulness and innovativeness can be utilized. Now, Konza Technopolis, we are establishing a digital media city. Now, a digital media city will provide the environment. And if you will go to the site, when you look across, you'll see the space. And you can properly envision that. Now, we are establishing a Hollywood of Kenya.
Hollywood.
We are providing an environment where all the creatives will be able to converge, provide, get equipment, get trained, and be given that environment where they can utilize and enhance their skills and creativity. Now, Digital Media City is a project that is currently, the financing is currently being arranged, and it is being supported by the government of Korea, and it will be able to provide this platform through the infrastructure and equipment and training for all the creatives in as far as media, TV, film, fashion, and all the creative and content creation.
Right.
Konza Technopolis is providing that through Digital Media City.
Right.
We are working with other agencies that have the expertise in that area. We're working with the Kenya Film Commission. We are working with KBC in as far as media is concerned, to be able to bring all this infrastructure in place and provide an environment, even where the media now won't have to own equipment or house or offices, but we'll just provide an environment where you just come, plug in and play. So that if you are a content creator, then you need to focus on content. You don't need to look at where is the equipment. Do I need to own an equipment? All that will be provided so that even for the media, you just focus on media activity and not owning a space, equipment and the rest. So that is what Digital Media City is going to do.
Right.
And that will help us as a country to enhance our creative industry.
Right.
Yeah.
And for media practitioners, that would be a very ideal situation,
Correct.
moving without equipment, you know, and being able to be creative. And speaking of ideal situations, right, you've spoken about the challenges that has maybe debilitated the growth of Konza City, knowing that this is the first of its kind, and there will be very many smart cities. I hear the government has earmarked about 5 to come. Would you say that what would be the ideal situation? How long would it take to bring up a smart city?
Now, how long it would take to bring up a smart city, given the challenges?
Yes.
Now,
in an ideal situation, in a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Yes.
Korea establishes cities every year.
Right. So it would take a year.
So, in fact, what Korea does is that they plan a city. They say this city will occupy, like in our case, 240,000 residents.
Right.
Now, when they reach that goal of 240 residents, they move to the next city.
Right.
Now, in an ideal situation, say probably 5 to 10 years, to be able to say now the city is operational.
Right.
In as far as governance is concerned, in as far as residents, even quality of life, say 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Because we've looked at what has been done elsewhere. In Korea, you have the Songdo. Recently, they were establishing a new one. In China, you have the Shenzhen city. If you look at how that has spanned 5 to 10 years, then you can say you have a complete city.
Right.
But then the development, a lot of work has to be put in place.
Now let's narrow back down to Konza City, right? You've been working here since 2015 as an individual, as a professional who has been, in one way or another running the city. What would you say are some of the gaps that you have identified while making the city or bringing the city to life? And how would you say a solution could be sought for them?
Okay, basically the biggest challenge would have been funding.
Right.
Is funding. I think we all need to have our funding correct. Of course, we live in an environment where the economic situation keeps changing and very dynamic. So funding is one of the challenges that needs to be put in place for that to happen.
Right.
Also, a lot of stakeholder engagement. In fact, for a city like this to be successful, you need to engage a lot of stakeholders.
Right.
You realize Konza Technopolis is doing a lot of infrastructure projects. Maybe that expertise is not available. Like in our case, that expertise was not available. We had to engage consultants to help us to piece up together the concept.
Right.
But now that we've built one and we are in a space where we can say we know how it's done, then we can say the next few cities to be built will be faster than what has been done in Konza Technopolis.
Right.
So based on those challenges, funding, stakeholder engagement and management, there's also the issue of making people understand the concept.
Right.
You see, initially, the way Konza was marketed or how the idea was sold in this futuristic manner.
Right.
You could see nice photos, nice pictures, but then the reality is there has to be a lot of planning and there has to be a lot of infrastructure. Brick and mortar has to go in first before now you embrace technology to ensure now it's a smart it's a smart city. So those are some of the challenges which I think if we were to do it again,
Right.
we would do it better and more efficient.
Right, and finally, you have to look into the future. We're trying to see how exactly Konza City is going to turn out. What would you say is the future of Konza City? What should Kenyans be looking forward to?
Now, Kenyans should be looking out to a digitally transformed country. And the platform for that digital transformation is Konza Technopolis. Because in Konza Technopolis, we've provided we've provided the environment where the innovation ecosystem will thrive. We've provided the platform. We have the National Data Center, which is Tier 3 uptime certified. Now, if you are speaking about digital transformation, then you cannot miss speaking about a data center. You know, data is the oil of today. And for that data to be effective and efficiently used, it has to find a storage. Now, as Konza Technopolis, we provided that platform. We have a national data center, which is uptime certified. And it's the only one in sub-Saharan Africa. Maybe the next one you'll find in South Africa. So we've provided that platform so that we are able to take advantage of establishing this global data in Konza Technopolis. And with that data, then we are able to provide the innovations and the solutions and the research and development that is required to be able to provide solutions to our problems and African problems and world problems. And when that is commercialized, then you can imagine the kind of revenues that will be generating as a country and also making life of our citizens better. So that is the environment provided by Konza Technopolis. Now, if you look at Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, it's also a platform where now the industry, academia, and government will converge to ensure that also we are able to enhance knowledge economy. And through knowledge economy, when that is commercialized, then we are able to now shift away from our traditional sources of revenue in agriculture, industry, and we are now able to compete also with our peers in as far as innovation and R&D is concerned. Now, Konza being an investment destination and a special economic zone, that means that as we converge investors here and investors find a place to be able to produce, it means that we will be able to create more employment opportunities and also provide an environment for our industries to thrive. Now, if you look at how the idea has been conceptualized, Konza is supposed to produce 2%, contribute 2% to the GDP. Right. Now, that means that in the next few years, as we break ground with our investors, then Kenyans will be able to start feeling the impact that this Technopolis will have in the economy, and also providing an environment away from other usual cities where citizens can come, live, work, and play in an environment that is high quality and an environment that is supported by ICT and ICT-enabled services. Now, that will be the impact that the Technopolis will provide to the citizen. Now, beginning with that, we recently launched a program called Jitume program. Now, Jitume program is now a program that we've initiated and we are currently on progress, and it has received enough support because it's a program where we are enhancing digital literacy. And as you mentioned, the population of the country is youthful. Now, the youthful population, they do not have jobs. Now, Jitume is providing the environment where we are able to train our youth to be digitally literate. We are able to provide them with the devices, and we are able to provide them with connectivity, because with internet, you'll access the global village. You'll access the whole world. And also, we'll be able to link them up with digital jobs. Now, the world over, there is a huge percentage of digital jobs which are gainful employment, not the usual online writing, but there are real jobs that are being done by people who have digital literacy. Companies globally are now, since COVID, and you could see now companies have embraced working from home or working away. Now, this is an environment, it's an area that as Konza Technopolis, we feel that if we are able to provide sufficient digital literacy and we are able to provide devices to the youth, and we are able to link them up with digital jobs, global digital jobs, then they are able to generate own revenue by working at home in an environment that they're able to work and be paid in dollars. So we've launched this program in all our TVET institutions, and it's currently ongoing. There are already those TVETs there where when you go there, you'll find youth who are already there in school, yes, but they're also working and earning. We have a situation where averagely they're earning 30,000, a minimum of 30,000, then up to a maximum of 200,000 per month. And this is revenue that comes in terms of dollars. Now, we recently have developed the designs, and we are working with Parliament. And we are working with the Ministry of ICT and also the national government CDF to ensure that now our members of Parliament are able to launch this in their own wards. We are targeting about 1,450 wards, and that means the entire country will have create an environment where this youth now can converge, provided with the necessary atmosphere and environment to be able to train and get digital skills and work. And this means the impact will be huge, and it will be felt throughout the country. Yeah.
And convergence is very, very important at having or seeing things from different perspectives. And talking about seeing things from different perspectives, how about we go out into the field, we see Konza City, we see the progress, we see what exactly is going on, have maybe a look behind the fences of Konza Technopolis.